The 2021 MLB regular season is officially in the books, so now it is time to predict who is going to win all of the awards. We have the MVPs, the Rookies of the Year, the Cy Youngs, as well as the Managers of the Year. Yes, we're going to talk about that. And also, if you're wondering if I'm going to come out with a video predicting the 2021 playoffs, yes, I will be, and that's going to come out a little bit later, so don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. It's going to be fun. Now, before we get into the predictions, I just want to let you guys know I use 3 different websites to construct my predictions. I used first and foremost Baseball Reference. We all should be familiar with that website. Second, I use Fangraphs. And then third, we have Baseball Savant. You guys might have not gone on it because it is a little bit intimidating at first, but once you get the hang of it, it is super useful. Let's go ahead and start off with the Managers of the Year. Now in the National League, to me, this is fairly easy. The San Francisco Giants came out of nowhere, and they were led by Gabe Kapler, who built off of a really good 2020 season. And just a year ago, I thought the Giants were going to be the worst team in baseball in the 2020 season. They were a whole lot better, and then they became the best team of baseball. They set a franchise record with 107 wins, and that was because not only was their offense number 2 in OPS as well as home runs hit, but if we take a look at their staff, they had the number 1 bullpen in all of Major League Baseball. And how do you get that? Your manager has to put your bullpen arms in the correct positions. So he set the Giants up to win, and for me, Gabe Kapler, he's the guy in the National League. I almost chose AJ Hinch for the American League, but you cannot ignore what the Mariners did along with the help of Scott Service, and he did a great service with Seattle. I'm sorry, you guys had to hear that. Anyways, the Mariners went 90-72, and this guy, just like Gabe Kapler, he put his guys in prime positions to perform at their best, and he had to do it with a bottom offense because they had the worst batting average in all of Major League Baseball. They had the 4th worst OPS, and then if we take a look at their pitchers, they were 16th, so below average in regards to team ERA from their pitching staff. I don't even know how they were able to get to 18 games over 500. I just think that was the baseball gods blessing the Seattle Mariners with a little bit of magic, and Scott Service being a top-notch manager. So for me, Gabe Kapler and Scott Service, those are my 2 guys for Managers of the Year. Rookie of the Year, this one is going to get a little bit spicy, especially when we talk about the AL, because there were so many players that I could choose from. Adolis Garcia, Luis Garcia, Akil Baddoo, Eric Haas, Casey Mize, but I'm going to hone in on one guy, Randy Arozarena. He joins the 30-20-20 club. If you don't know what that means, that is 30 doubles, 20 stolen bases, and 20 home runs, and he ended the year with a .356 on base percentage, and that helped raise his OPS plus to 131. That is really good. If you guys do not know what OPS plus is, it's just an adjusted OPS, and the average OPS is 100, so he was 31% better than the average hitter. He also saved 4 runs defensively, and he was in the top 26 in outs above average, and he ended the season, according to Baseball Reference, with a 4.2 WAR. Randy Arozarena, he just narrowly beats out Adolis Garcia, in my opinion. Moving on over to the National League. Now, I think that we can all agree that this is a slam dunk pick. Now, maybe you want to go with Patrick Wisdom, or maybe you want to go with Trevor Rogers of the Miami Marlins, but I'm going to go ahead and go with the main guy that I'm talking about, Jonathan India. 143 base hits in his debut season. 57 of those were extra base hits, and he had 12 stolen bases, so he can move a little bit as well. He had a .376 on base percentage. That was aided by the fact that he led baseball with 23 hits by pitches. Now, he is an average defender. He does make a flashy play here and there, but to put it nicely, he is average over at second base. He finished the season with a 3.9 B WAR. That just means Baseball Reference WAR. So to me, Randy Arozarena and Jonathan India, I feel like those are pretty safe picks, and honestly, I feel like my pick so far, everyone can agree with. Here's another one that I think is a slam dunk. Corbin Burnes for the NL Cy Young. I mean, this guy, over his last 226 innings pitched, has a combined 2.34 ERA, so he is not a one-year wonder. I think that he is going to be good for the next decade if he just stays healthy. So he led the league in ERA and ERA plus, and had a whopping 1.63 FIP, and maybe whopping is the wrong word, minuscule. 1.63, if you guys did not know, would be the 14th lowest in Major League Baseball history, with a minimum of 150 innings pitched, and the 2nd lowest in the live ball era. Now, why is it so low? If you don't know what FIP is, FIP stands for Fielding Independent Pitching. That essentially is a stat to determine how good a pitcher is without the fielders around him. So how good is he at limiting walks, limiting home runs, and striking people out? And like I mentioned, a 1.63 FIP would be the second lowest in the live ball era, I think behind Pedro Martinez. So he led the league in home runs per 9 and strikeouts per 9. He was as dominant as you could possibly be as a starting pitcher. And to be honest with you guys, I think that Corbin Burnes is going to finish top 10 in MVP. Yes, he's going to get MVP votes along with winning the NL Cy Young. Now, if we're moving on over to the American League, this is where things are going to get spicy as well, because let me make an important note. Garrett Cole would have been my pick a month ago, but then he had a hamstring injury, so that resulted in a 5.13 ERA in the month of September, and thus Robbie Ray is going to win by default, even though he still had a really good season. I do not want to poo-poo Robbie Ray, but the sabermetrics would tell you that Garrett Cole was more dominant, so I guess this is an argument between effectiveness and dominance. Garrett Cole is more dominant, but if we take a look at the innings pitched and games started and ERA, Robbie Ray was easily the more effective pitcher because he led the American League in games started, innings pitched, ERA, and ERA plus, strikeouts, whip, and had a pretty good 3.2 Sierra. That is just another version of ERA. He also became the fastest starting pitcher in history to 1,000 strikeouts, and according to Baseball Reference, he easily beat out Garrett Cole in the WAR department with a 6.8 WAR. So again, if Garrett Cole had a good month of September, or even just a decent one, he would have been my pick. But Robbie Ray, to me, had a magical season, and he should be rewarded for it. And he gets the Cy Young in the American League, according to me. The moment that you've all been waiting for, the most valuable player in each league. And let's talk about the American League. Am I going to go with Vladdy? Am I going to go with Shohei Ohtani? Am I going to go with Akil Baddoo? Obviously, I'm not going to do that. I'm going with Shohei Ohtani. Now, let me point something out real quick. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., he is going to win the Hank Aaron Award. That is the best offensive player in an individual league. He set the record with 48 home runs as a 22-year-old, passing Eddie Matthews. He did that in the final game of the season, so my hat is off to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I have a bunch of his cards, so if he wins, I'm going to make so much money. But I truly think, with all of that being said, Shohei is going to win a unanimous MVP because he had a once-in-a-generation season. He led Major League Baseball in triples with 8. He also became the first player in American League history with 45 plus home runs, 25 plus stolen bases, and 100 plus runs. The only other guys to do that were in the National League. So again, Shohei Ohtani was a magician in the batter's box. And on the pitching side of things, he pitched really well. He had a 3.18 ERA to go along with 156 strikeouts and 130 innings. He was the ace of a franchise while also being a franchise hitter. I mean, if you look at his FIP as well, fielding independent of pitching, he had a 3.52 FIP when the league average FIP this year was 4.27. That also just goes to show you how otherworldly Corbin Burnes was. But you get what I'm saying. Shohei Ohtani was above average on the bump, and he was one of the 15 best hitters in baseball. You gotta give him the MVP, and I think unanimously. And last but not least, the NL MVP. I cannot lie to you guys, even when I set aside my fanboyness, it just seems irresponsible to choose Bryce Harper over Juan Soto, because on the surface level, Juan Soto, he should be the guy, but I have to give it to Bryce Harper simply on the fact that he carried the Phillies to a basically playoff push, but then, you know, he wasn't very good in that Braves series. So I do want to admit that. He had a 309 batting average, and he became the 4th outfielder in Major League Baseball history with 100 plus runs, 100 plus walks, 40 doubles, and 35 plus home runs. The other players, Babe Ruth, Barry Bonds, and Stan Musial. So he led Major League Baseball in OPS plus at 179. He was one of 2 hitters in all of baseball with a 1,000 plus OPS, him and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. So all of that being said, I truly believe that Bryce Harper was just a little bit more valuable to his team, and the fact that they were so close to making the playoffs. I know it didn't happen, and again, that Atlanta series, a lot of people are pointing to that, but he is still going to get my pick. Now, funny enough, Juan Soto also made some history this year. He is the second 22-year-old in Major League Baseball history to lead MLB in on-base percentage. The last guy back in 2015, when Bryce Harper led everyone in on-base percentage en route to winning an MVP. Is Juan Soto going to do it? It quite possibly could happen. I would not be surprised whatsoever. All of the picks that I chose with, I think, are going to happen 100%, but this NL MVP race, Bryce Harper versus Juan Soto, I mean, Juan Soto almost had a 600 on-base percentage in the second half of the season, but Bryce Harper almost had 50 extra base hits in the second half, so I'm giving it to him. And that does it for today's prediction video. Thank you all so much for watching, and again, thank you for a fantastic 2021 MLB season of MLB Recap. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you all so much for the support, and I'll catch you guys in the second video predicting the playoffs, where I'll probably get everything wrong. But this one, I'm pretty confident.